You guys remember my little bonsai that I was really excited about and it was growing really fast, and then I showed it off on the podcast and it immediately died? You remember that? When the bonsai died, I was like, here's this cute little cactus to take the place of the bonsai. You guys want to see what happened to the cactus? Stop killing my plants! Hey everyone, welcome to episode 16 of the WOOLJEWEL podcast. I'm Caitlin and this is my knitting podcast. And there's a cat. Hi kitty. So today I have a lot of fun stuff to show you, a bunch of new projects and some stuff I've been working on. I'm hanging out at home today. It's August 9th. It is nice and sunny outside, and I think this is the first time that I've filmed in the late afternoon, so maybe it'll be a little different today. I have new spinning wheel you'll notice in the background, which I will talk more about later, but for now I am just going to mention a couple quick things and then I'm going to get right into my works in progress because I don't have any finished objects today. Okay, so first off, I want to say thank you so much to everybody watching and subscribing. There are way more subscribers right now than I ever would have thought there would have been when I first started doing this. I was super excited when I had 10 subscribers, so just really huge thank you to you guys who are participating in the knit-alongs and commenting. I really like this to be a two-way street, so I really enjoy getting messages and comments from you guys. So speaking of subscribers, since I am nearing 1,000 subscribers, I thought it'd be really fun to do a live podcast once I hit 1,000. So that'll just be like a fun thing to celebrate, and depending on when that is, I might be able to coordinate a giveaway to go along with that. So I'll keep you updated on that. Another quick thing I want to mention is that I will be at the Berlin Knits Festival at the end of September, and I will be at Rhinebeck in October. So I'm really looking forward to those. Let me know if you're going because I want to meet you. And I have a couple knit-alongs going on right now. The Any Sock Will Do Cal, which is a sock knit-along for those of you who are knitting socks that don't qualify for other knit-alongs, or you just don't want to enter them into any other knit-alongs, you can enter them into mine. So go check out the Ravelry group for that. There's a link in the video description. And the other cal I have going on that just started is the Big Scary Knit-along. So this is kind of a Halloween knit-along. It's not really Halloween themed, but I want you to knit something that is scary to you, or do something knitting related, create something that has always intimidated you or scared you. And I want to emphasize that this is not necessarily a try something for the first time knit along. Like if you're trying something that you always wanted to try and you never got around to it, that doesn't mean you were scared of it. So make sure that this is something that, like, this is more about conquering fears than it is about trying new things. Like there could be something that you've done 10 times already that still scares you. That qualifies more for this knit along than just trying something new for the sake of trying something new. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, all the information can be found in the Ravelry group. There's a chatter thread for that, and I'll be posting an FO thread once we get closer to the deadline. I think that's about it. Just want to mention really quick that all of my stash enhancements will now be put into a separate video series called Wool Booty. After I do this episode, I'll be making the Wool Booty video, so yeah, keep an eye out for that. And let's talk about knitting now. So I've been busy this week. Last time I saw you guys, I was talking about all these sweater ideas and like wanting to make a Rhinebeck sweater and how many sweaters can I make, and I really want to make a lot of sweaters, and I have all this sweaters quantity yarn in my stash that I really want to bust through. So I kind of did that. Let me just show you what I'm making right now first, and then I'll talk about it. This is the Camaro sweater. You might recognize it here. This is the yoke. So there's like a chevron that points down in the front and wraps around the back. So most people that have made this have made like more of a rainbowy type yoke and then like a neutral color for the main color at the bottom. So this is all the striping that will happen, and then I'll have a darker color for the main color at the bottom. I kind of did what I said about starting a bunch of sweaters, but the whole point of me knitting all these sweaters was to get through my sweaters quantity stash. But like, this is 5 different yarns. This is not a sweaters quantity that I had like bunched together in my stash. So I don't know what I was thinking. I was just really excited. I've been wanting to knit this sweater. And if you'll remember the Rays sweater, the Stephen West pattern. Yeah, so I had the Rays sweater and I knit several inches into the body and I wasn't liking the colors, so I frogged it. But I originally bought all of this yarn for that sweater, including a bunch of other, like I was collecting DK yarn for a really long time just to go into that sweater. And then when I swatched for it, I did not like the fabric in DK. So I had all this like colorful DK yarn in my stash for a specific project that I ended up not wanting to make with that yarn because I didn't like the fabric. So I ended up making it with fingering yarn instead. And then I frogged the whole thing, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, I have all this DK in my stash and my sister helped me. I like made a huge pile of all these DK yarns and I texted a picture to my sister and I was like, please help me find colors. Thank you, Allison. So we ended up putting together this combo, which I think it's a little different from what I usually do, but it's cool. It's like really moody and it's kind of autumny to me, especially this middle stripe. And like these are kind of Halloween-y colors to me, so I'm really excited. And I was so excited about this project because it's really addicting to knit, like really addicting. You have these stripes, which I think the pattern has more stripes actually in the same amount of rows. So I think the pattern has you switching every 8 rows, so they're thinner stripes, but I only wanted 5 different colors in the yoke, so I did 14 stripes, 14 rows per stripe. So yeah, I got a little bit thicker stripes, but it was so addicting to knit because I just wanted to finish each stripe and get to the next section. But then like you also have the increases that are changing every few rows as well. So, but they change at different times. So I was like, oh, I just really want to finish this blue first. But then when I got to the black, I was in the middle of an increase section. So I was like, I'll just finish this increase section. And then I was almost done with the black. So I was like, I'll just finish this black section. Oh, I'll just finish this increase section. So I was like, always wanting to just finish the next section. And so I did this in 2 days. Maybe 2 days and an evening. Yeah, so like this went really fast and I am like chomping at the bit to finish it. I can't yet though because I started this without knowing what my main color was gonna be. The main color on the rest of the body and the sleeves. I was like, I just want to put these colors together and I'll figure out the rest later, assuming that this yoke was gonna take me a couple weeks. No, it took me a couple days and now I can't keep knitting on it because I don't have the rest of the yarn. So I ordered some. I was supposed to be busting through my sweater stash, but I don't have yarn that would work for the main color of this. So like I didn't use my sweater stash and I ended up buying more yarn, which was like it totally defeats the purpose of me knitting more sweaters right now. Anyway, I don't care because I love this and I'm really excited to wear it and I think I'm gonna wear this to Berlin Knits. We'll see. Yeah. I didn't say who the designer was. This is the Camaro sweater from Tanis Fiber Arts and I'm knitting it on size 6 needles, I believe. Yeah. And all of this yarn is Madeline Tosh so far. They're not all the same base. Like these two, I believe, are an MCN Sport, which they call their 80-10-10 Sport, but it is like basically the same as their DK. Their Sport is like a really thick, bouncy Sport that knits up to very similar gauge to their DK. Just so you know. Because like some Sport weights are actually way closer to fingering, so you kind of never know what you're gonna get, but if you're ever worried about mixing Madeline Tosh, that's my experience at least, so yeah, that's it. I love it. Okay, next work in progress I'm going to show you is my Blythe test knit, which is going really, really well. Like this has gone super, super fast. It's just I ended up taking several days off from like not knitting it at all. Like for a few days there, it was the only thing I knit, and then I got most of it done, and then I put it off for a long time. So here's where I've gotten so far. I finished the first sleeve. I can't remember where I was the last time I showed y'all. I finished the neck, and this is how far I am on the second sleeve. And I picked up these stitches and started knitting this last night. I did like 5 rows, and the rest of this I did this morning. So yeah, it's going really fast. This is DK weight on size 8 needles, and it's designed by Paige from Knit Diaries. I'm sorry, Paige, I don't know your last name, but yeah, she's Knit Diaries on Instagram. So I'm testing this for her, and I had a lot of trouble getting gauge with the yarn that I wanted to use, and I really didn't want to buy more yarn just to do the test. So I ended up completely changing the stitch count. Yeah, I had to end up casting on like 10% fewer stitches to get the same width around the chest, circumference, whatever, you know what I mean. But when I got up to the neck, and you'll see this line right here, like those decreases was where the original neck was. And like most sweaters, when you have that edge, then you go around and you pick up and you knit the collar or whatever you're gonna do with it, put the edge on. For hers, like for the sample, it's and in the pattern, you're only supposed to knit like a couple rows and then finish it. But even with the couple rows knit on, it was like this on my shoulders, like totally falling off. And I don't think that I have particularly narrow shoulders, but I am 5'2", so I'm pretty short, and this is a one size pattern. So I didn't know if it's just because I'm like a smaller person in general, or if it's just this yarn again. It's probably this yarn, because I wasn't getting gauge at all, even though I changed needle sizes while swatching. Anyway, so I just ended up knitting like a lot more of a collar and going down a few needle sizes to make it tighter. And the original, I think, has a rolled kind of raw edge here, but since my yarn wasn't, I don't know, it was just too stretchy and it just kept falling off. So what I did was an I-cord bind off with a size 5 needle, and this is, the whole thing is knit with size 8 needles, and so I use a size 5 to do the I-cord bind off, which is a little bit flexible, but it's like rigid enough that it'll actually stay on. Yeah, so I kind of had to do a lot to deal with that. I was kind of worried that it was gonna look weird, but I actually kind of like this little like mini baby yoke, because I can't really call it a collar because it doesn't look like a collar, but I don't know, I think it looks cute. So once I finish it, I'll show you guys what it looks like to put it on. So then after I finish the sleeve, all I have to do is put the fringe on. It has like fringe at the sleeve seams, so I'm really excited about that. I really hope I have enough yarn for the fringe. If I don't, then I'm gonna have to do a contrast fringe. Okay, moving on. I am really excited to show you my TEGNA. The TEGNA is a cute lacy crop t-shirt, lacy amazing top, designed by Caitlin Hunter. She is Boylan Knitworks on Instagram, and last time I showed this, I was maybe 3/4 of the way through with the lace portion. So it's got like lace on the bottom and then stockinette for the rest of it. And not 5 minutes before I came over here to start filming, I finished the lace section. I wasn't really counting how many rows left I had of the lace. I wasn't really sure. I was just kind of taking it one row at a time. I was like, I'm just gonna do this one row at a time. I'm not even gonna look, because I was afraid I'd be too intimidated if I looked at all of the instructions. And I wasn't using a chart, obviously, because like, if you watch the last episode, you know that I'm not a chart person. So I was taking it one row at a time, and when I finished a row and I looked at the next row and it said knit around removing stitch markers for lace sections, I was so excited. Like, it was an amazing feeling. I've never done lace like this before. This is more lace than I've ever done in one project, and it's more intricate than anything I've ever done, and it actually wasn't that hard. Honestly, my biggest problem, I'm trying to show you guys the lace. It's really, really difficult to show off. Can you see it? It's so pretty. But yeah, my biggest problem I think with this was that when there's a lot of yarn overs, they would like slide off, the yarn over would fall off of my needle without me realizing it. So then whenever I came back around for the next row, I'd be missing a yarn over. Literally every single time that my stitch count was off in a lace repeat section, it was because I'd lost a yarn over. So at least I knew when there was a mistake or if my stitch count was off. 99.99% of the time it was because I was missing a yarn over. So it was like really easy to fix. There was only one time I actually dropped a stitch, which was really scary, but I'm really proud of myself. It was actually this morning. I kind of fixed it and it like looked okay, but I knew it wasn't right. But I took the time to actually fix it and it's perfect. It just took a lot of like sitting there and like I was like looking at this one and I was like, this one's wrong. I don't know what it's supposed to look like. So I went over here to this repeat and I just like compared them and I was looking at them and I was trying to figure out where which piece of yarn was supposed to be. Yeah. Learn how to read your knitting. Don't just blindly follow patterns. It's really helpful. And I have only gotten good at this because I feel like I've made every single mistake that there is to make. Took the time to figure it out, and this yarn is knitting up so beautifully. I can't wait to block it so you can see the actual pattern. But this yarn, it's kind of shiny and the colors are like gold and silver, and so it just kind of looks like it's molten metals. I don't know. I really love it. Yeah, so the yarn is Aimee. And I can never remember the name of the base because they don't sell it online. They only sell this base in their shop, but it's like alpaca and I think there's cashmere and silk in there too. But it is really, really soft and really drapey. And it's like kind of a thinner fingering. It's like a light fingering and it's 2-ply and I love it. So I'm really excited to not have all these stitch markers marking every single section, and from here on out it's pretty much just stockinette. So it's gonna be awesome. I really hope I finish this soon. It's living in my field bag from Fringe Supply Co. And this is the Aimee version of this bag with the yellow, and I didn't realize that I'm using my LBA yarn in my LBA bag. Matchy matchy. Okay, I have the socks I'm working on right now. I've made like no progress on these, but here they are. I probably only knit like an inch since I showed these off last, but I just wanted to show them really quick in case you didn't watch the last one. This yarn was hand dyed by Anna from the Dunkelgrun Podcast. Thank you, Anna. She sent these as a gift for me when she sent her donation to the Great Unravel knit along that just ended. I am knitting these on US size 2, which is bigger than what I usually use for socks. And even though I cast on way fewer stitches, they're still too big for me, so I'm just gonna make them for Ben instead. I've never knit socks with yarn that pooled this way before, so it looks really cool. I'm really enjoying how these are coming up. I'm gonna do the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which is my typical heel for a vanilla sock. Yeah, it's actually the only heel I've ever done. It works fine for my purposes, and every pair of socks that I've knit for another human being, no matter what size or shape their feet were, that heel has worked. And I have Ben's cardboard foot, which is super handy because he's not here for friggin' 3 months. I have a few more inches to go, so I'll start his heel when I get there. one more thing to show you guys. And this is a result of me trying to bust through my sweater yarn stash, and like it's a little crazy, but I'm gonna show it to you. It is huge. Okay, this is, the yarn is Wool in the Gang Crazy Sexy Wool. And I had a coupon for 50% off a few months ago, and so I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna get a sweater's quantity of their Crazy Sexy Wool because it was half off, and when there's a deal like that, I always buy a sweater's quantity just to have for later because it's worth it. Sweater's amount of yarn is really expensive. So I have been wanting to dip my toe into designing, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll just start with designing a shawl, because shawls you don't have to worry about fit and all that good stuff. But I don't really knit shawls a whole lot. I knit them occasionally, and more importantly, I don't really wear shawls. Like, I wear the ones that I have because I like them because I made them, but shawls are not something that I need in my wardrobe, and they're just like kind of a fun extra to me. Well, I'd rather wear like a big cardigan or something than a shawl. I don't know, that's just me. So I was like, why would I want to design a shawl if that's not even something that I'm really into? So I think I'm just gonna start designing sweaters because that's what I want to design, and I thought that it would be too scary as a total beginner designing and I don't know anything, and I thought it would be too intimidating with like too much math and stuff, figuring out the different sizing without knitting every single size. I was like, there's no way I could possibly figure that out without actually physically knitting every single one. But I think I can do it. I think that I've knit enough sweaters that I understand basic construction and like rules for like, not rules, but you know, best practices, I guess you could say, for knitting with certain fibers and different shapes and things like that. So I casted this on, and I've just been free knitting. I did this yoke, like this yarn over yoke, and I was really liking it. And I cast on here at the neck, and it looks like it's big and curling out, but I did Judy's Magic cast on as a provisional cast on, so that when I decide what type of neck I want, I can just keep knitting up. So it's like curling out and looks bigger than it's gonna end up being, but yeah, just so you know. So I knit a circular yoke down with yarn overs for the increases, and I think it looks really cute. I think it's really pretty. And I was like, you know what, I could just keep going and make this a big poncho, but I was like, no, stick with the plan, make a sweater. I didn't want the neck to be up really high, so I did some short row shaping in the back at the bottom of the yoke, just a little bit. I was thinking this yarn is so thick. Normally I really like to have a sweater with the arm that starts at the actual armpit. I say this as I'm wearing this giant caftan, but I don't like to have too much fabric like underneath the armpit so that when you raise your arms the whole thing comes up. Like I like there to be that range of motion with the arms, but I thought that having this thick of yarn up in your armpit would be really uncomfortable, and it would end up like shedding or pilling in that spot. So I decided to put the armpit a little bit lower, and then I put it on as is. Let me see if I can get it on. Yes. Yeah. So I put it on, and now it's just like too far down so that if I lift my arms, it does come way up, and then now there's just like too much material, too much yarn happening. Like there's just too much bulk. So I'm gonna frog back a little bit and see what happens if I try something else. But it's been really fun just trying things out with this yarn because it goes so fast. Like it goes really fast. I mean, I don't have problems frogging anyway, as you guys know, but it's been really fun to try that. It's also really fun because this yarn really sticks to itself. Like, it's really soft, but it's just toothy enough that I don't lose stitches. Like, if I have to rip the needles out to fix something, I'm not worried about losing any stitches, and I can just slip the needles right back in. So it's awesome. Yeah, I've never knit with this yarn before, actually. I have a lot of Wool in the Gang kits and a lot of their yarn, but I've never used Crazy Sexy Wool. But yeah, I really love it. So I don't know, I hope this turns into something. This might be a totally different thing the next time you see it, but we'll see. So if you're wondering, the colorway I'm using in this yarn is called Purple Haze. And it's kind of a baby blue slash very, very light bluey purple. It's really, really pretty. So that's all I've got for works in progress. I didn't have an FO section today because I don't have any new finished objects. But I do want to mention that test knit garment that I was showing off that I can't share any information about or show it at all, that I did with my hand-dyed yarn, is not being released till like winter. So I'm really sorry, you guys. I don't know. I didn't really think it through, and I just assumed that it would be released shortly after the test knit thing. But I've never test knit for this designer before, so I just didn't know how they do things, and that's how they do things. So I'm allowed to wear it out in public, but I am not allowed to share it on social media. So I don't know if that means I'm not allowed to wear it to like a knitting festival. I'll have to ask them if I can wear it to Berlin Knits or something. Anyways, y'all will see that in a few months. Okay, that's it for works in progress. So I'm gonna get into Woolly World. I don't have dyeing, and I don't have weaving today, but I do have spinning because I have a spinning wheel now. This is my spinning wheel. It's a Louet S15, which is no longer in production, and I asked when it was made, and the lady that sold it to me is not sure. Probably the 60s or 70s it was made. I'm trying to think of a good way to show this off. Okay, sorry guys, I'm having trouble fitting it into the frame. I have spun, I guess, an okay amount. I don't really know what's normal, but so this is what I've got so far, and I'm really bad at remembering to change which hook I'm using. So the hook kind of gets the yarn onto the bobbin, and you're supposed to change it frequently so that you have this really even bobbin, but mine's all wobbly because I keep forgetting to change it. Okay, so I don't know what things are called. I just kind of know how to use it, kind of. I don't really know what to say about it other than like I have it and I've made some yarn so far. This is just some wool roving that I've had in my yarn room for a really long time. It's left over from some of the roving blankets that I was making around Christmas to sell. It's not merino. It's like a 25 micron wool, and I have a lot more merino roving, so I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna practice on this wool first, and then I'm gonna switch to merino. But yeah, if I actually need a little bit of help, if any of y'all know, there is a lot of squeaking happening when I'm spinning, and it's because, like, I don't know what this specific part is called on the flyer, but it's like this plastic piece. Can you see that? Yeah, so when this plastic part is spinning around, it spins on this metal part. I don't know what things are called, I'm really sorry. Yeah, so it spins on this like metal thing in here, and that part is really, really squeaky. And I know that spinning wheel grease is a thing, but like everything that I've read about spinning wheel grease, they're like, put this on the parts where there's friction between wood and metal. And like that makes total sense, but this is plastic and metal. Can I use the same grease for that? Is there something like, is there like a household something that I can use instead. Like I've heard of some people using olive oil or something, but I don't know which parts can use which types of grease, and it's gotten to the point where it's so much squeaking that I don't want to spin anymore. So I need to figure this out. I need to know what kind of grease I can get. I just like have been Googling and I can't figure out if there's a specific type for plastic on metal. I have heard that you can put, like, take some wool in the grease that like still has a lot of lanolin in it that hasn't been totally washed and processed, and like rub that on the different pieces. But like I don't have wool like that. I have wool that has some lanolin in it, but I don't think it has nearly enough to like deal with this kind of situation. So anyway, I'm really excited to have this, and it only took me about a half an hour of like, what the hell am I doing, to be able to do it. So yeah, I don't know. I have some yarn on my drop spindle, but I have not done any more since I last saw you. If you remember this, it's like black and white and yellow. So I'm still working on that. So I think that this week I'm probably going to be doing more drop spindle when I feel like spinning, just because I need to get the grease situation figured out before, because it's like way too loud. I can't handle that much noise. Yeah, that's my new spinning wheel. I need to name it. Anybody have any ideas? So I'm going to get into fluff stuff now, which is just kind of chit chat about knitting stuff that I want to mention that's not necessarily a project. So I want to start something new this week, and I'm gonna call it Sweater Spotlight. First of all, you guys can probably guess that I spend a lot of time on Ravelry looking at sweater patterns, and there are always more to discover. Like sometimes I feel like I've seen every sweater pattern that is on that website, but then the next time I go do a search, there's something amazing that I've never seen before that has been on Ravelry for like 2 years. I don't know how that happens, but I spent a lot of time doing that, and so I thought that I would do a sweater spotlight. And so I'm just going to share a pattern on every episode that I think is a really awesome sweater pattern. I'm gonna try to keep it to sweaters that have less than 100 projects. For the first sweater spotlight ever is the Intertidal pullover by Elizabeth Davis. So this pullover has everything that I love in a sweater. For me personally to wear, this is exactly what I love. I love that it is slightly cropped, slightly boxy, and has a 3/4 length sleeve, and the collar is not too high up and it's not too open. It just looks like the perfect casual light sweater. But then it has these asymmetrical color blocks and just enough texture to keep it interesting, and it just, I don't know, it's so like classic and modern at the same time, and I love it. And I really like that you can keep it really neutral and it looks really great, but then some of the people who've made this sweater have done some really bright contrasty color blocking. So I don't know, I just really liked it and I wanted to share it with you guys. It only has 42 projects right now, and it might have 43 soon because I love it enough to cast on. Problem is, I don't have yarn that would work for this specific sweater, so okay, I'm trying not to buy more sweater yarn, but I really love this one. But yeah, I just thought I would share that with you guys. I really liked it, and I don't know, there's tons of sweater patterns out there that like I think are really amazing, but I'm not necessarily gonna knit them myself, but you know, it might be something that I think is really cool and I think somebody should knit it, but it's just not for me. So like that's what Sweater Spotlight is for, because I look at sweaters all the time. And so speaking of sweaters and me trying to knit a lot of sweaters before Rhinebeck, I think that somebody called it Sweater-athon in the comments or something, so I think that that's gonna be a thing. This is Sweater-athon 2017 for me. I'm gonna try to knit as many sweaters as possible between August 1st and Rhinebeck. And I am liking the idea of this being a thing like every year, because between August and the end of October, that is like the best time of year to do sweater knitting for yourself, because it's like about to be cold. So if you're knitting them August 1st, by the time you're done, it's gonna start getting into fall weather, and the end of October, which is when Rhinebeck is like, that's when you're kind of gearing up for your Christmas knitting, unless you're smart and doing Christmas in July, but I'm not. I wait till the last minute. So yeah, the end of October is like when I start planning and knitting for Christmas. So August to October is like the best time to knit sweaters for yourself. So I'm just gonna knit as many as I can and try to bust through that stash. And hopefully next time I will have casted on my official Rhinebeck sweater, which is going to be the Ondawa by Michelle Wong, I think. If I don't find another sweater pattern that I love even more. Yeah, so let me know if you want to join me in Sweater-athon 2017. Anybody? Okay. I think that's it for today. I don't know how long this has gone, but this might be a short episode. I've been doing vlogust, just not posting every day, but I have been getting a little bit of video footage of myself doing something every day. And honestly, I've been finding that vlogust is really difficult to do without a tripod. So a lot of the footage I've been getting is like, hey, I'm gonna go do such and such, and this is what I'm doing today. But then like I don't have any footage of me actually doing that thing, because there's no way for me to set up my phone in a convenient way to do that. So this first week of vlogust is kind of boring, but I'm gonna try to figure out a solution for next week. Like, I think what I'm gonna do is film every day and then compile them and have 3 or 4 vlogust videos that are a little bit longer instead of a short one every day. I don't have time to edit video every single day. I can't. I have to knit, you guys. I have to knit sweaters. Can't be editing video when I have to knit sweaters. Yeah, so instead of block it out this week, I am going to tag on some of my vlogust footage. Hope you enjoy vlogust number 1. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, let me know by hitting the thumbs up, and I would super appreciate if you guys want to subscribe, because I really want to do this live podcast. I just think it'll be really fun to celebrate getting 2,000 followers when I get there. Yeah, leave a comment and let me know who you are. Go join the Ravelry group, say hi, join the knit-alongs, and I will see you guys next week. Bye! Hey y'all, I'm super excited because today is the start of vlogust. I'm gonna do a little vlog every single day this month, partly as a project to keep me busy while Ben's gone, and also because this first month that he's gone is my least busy month, and I thought it would just be something cool to try out, keep me busy, and hopefully you guys enjoy getting to know me a little better and to see what I'm up to every day. So today's a pretty typical day. I just woke up and there was a bee in my room, which was lovely, so the first thing I did was try to get it outside. And I've got my orange shirt on because I am teaching online today, and that's what I'm supposed to wear. So I'm about to go make some coffee, and while I do that, I'm gonna do a few dance exercises just to kind of get blood flowing. Also, I like to start the day by cleaning up yesterday's mess, because who wants to clean at the end of the day? So that's what I've got going on, and I'll check in with you guys later. like to come in and see who has recently subscribed to me. Thank you everyone, by the way. And I just kind of scroll through and see if there are any other podcasters who subscribe to me, because then I want to go check out their channel. So I was scrolling. Hello everyone, if you're on my screen. And then I saw this and I'm flipping out just a little bit. Hey guys, welcome to my online classroom. I just finished teaching and that is all I had planned for the day. So now I've got some free time. I'm going to finish cleaning up what I didn't get to earlier, and I'm going to do some knitting. I think I'm going to work on my Blythe sweater, which I showed you in my last episode, and I'm almost done with the first sleeve, so that is pretty exciting. So last I talked to you guys, I was really excited to have the whole day open to craft after teaching, and I knit for a few hours, and I was getting really restless. So I decided to go for a walk while the sun is still out. A few blocks away from my apartment is the center of our tiny little village. And there are sculptures kind of scattered around the city. The city is like only a few blocks wide, so I thought I might try to find them all today. I think there's 12. Yeah, I'll show you guys what they look like. Okay, so here's one of them. That thing. That's it. That's one of the sculptures, and it is in front of the bank we use when we go to the ATM. And here's another one coming up here, and it's right next to the church. I think this one's my favorite out of the ones that I've seen. It's kind of whimsical and cool. Really an amphitheater. I don't really know why it's down there because it's just a door. But it's a fancy staircase down to what must be a very important door. You guys probably saw the other sculpture back there that was like a bunch of cubes on the ground, but it was next to a playground with a bunch of children. And obviously I'm completely avoiding them. Introvert problems. It's my apartment, way up there. The top floor and where the balcony is. That's my window. I think the cat has the right idea. I'm gonna go join her with a glass of wine. Good morning, everyone. I just woke up and I slept in a little later than I wanted to because it was super rainy and overcast, and it was just dark, so I didn't wake up when I usually do. So I'm just gonna make some coffee now and get ready to teach online, and then I think I've got a ballet class later today, and then dinner with some friends, so hopefully I'll be able to get some crafting in there at some point. Hey guys, I just pulled into the dance studio parking lot. I'm going to take a quick class. I forgot my wallet, so I hope that's not a problem. Yeah, and I will see you guys later. Hey guys, I just got home from class and class was great. It was basically a private lesson because the only other person that showed up was a 9-year-old boy and we are totally different levels, so the teacher just kind of gave us our own things to work on. And it was really good. I am kind of bummed though because this was the last class for the summer, or for the month at least, because like there's a bunch of intensives at the end of the month, but I'm gonna have to miss them because I'm gonna be in France with my mom, but that will be very fun, so yeah. Well, I thought I was going to knit and it turns out I'm looking at yarn combos. I'm sitting on the floor of my living room surrounded by yarn and trying to choose colors for a cool sweater I want to knit. This is my life right now. Pile of yarn, Diet Dr. Pepper, on the floor, watching The Office, and coming up with some cool combos. I just watched this amazing yarn, which I will talk about in my next episode. And I'm gonna cast on a sweater with it. And it's 11 p.m. Good morning, everyone. It is day 3 of vlogust, and I just got home. Just first thing this morning, I had to go pick up my friend from the shop. She was dropping her car off and needed a ride, and of course I didn't get out of bed until right when I needed to leave. So I'm gonna make some coffee now, and thanks Michelle for the coffee because I forgot that I ran out of beans yesterday, and she gave me some ground coffee to bring home so that I can have coffee today. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I have a couple lessons to teach today online, and then I'm teaching a violin lesson, and then dinner with friends. The restaurant we wanted to go to is actually closed for summer break because it's Germany. I'm super bummed out because it is this amazing Ethiopian restaurant, but I think we're going to get Mexican food tonight, and I'm really excited because this place is like good Mexican food. A lot of the Mexican restaurants here have like curry in it. They just like don't know what Mexican food is, but yeah. You guys, I just pulled up to the place where I'm getting my spinning wheel. I'm going to choose a Louet S10 and S15, which is no longer in production. If anybody has either of those, I want to hear about it. I was up really late last night, so I slept in as long as possible before I had to teach again. And I have an hour break from teaching, so I am trying out my new spinning wheel. Done teaching for the day, and here is my little setup I've got going on. I have my laptop and some tea and my spinning wheel, and this is what I've done today. I'm having a lot of trouble when the yarn breaks. Reattaching a new piece of wool is not a problem for me, but the problem is that whenever I try to spin it again, I can attach the new wool, but I can't keep going because it just keeps breaking. Like every time I try again, it just breaks and breaks, and it breaks closer to the bobbin. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe somebody out there can help me. Hey everyone, just sitting down for some coffee. It is August 7th, and I am wearing my Blythe test knit that only has one sleeve, but it's really cozy and like the perfect weight for right now, and I was a little cold, so I put it on. And I am working on something new. I really want to design a sweater, and I have a lot of ideas, so I'm just trying to see if a few of them will work right now. Hey everyone, it's August 8th and I am having some coffee. I'm planning my next podcast episode and I'm doing laundry and cleaning and all that boring adult stuff that you have to do at home. That kind of sucks. So yeah, just a lot of that stuff today, and I'm teaching a little bit this afternoon, and I'm really hoping to be able to film the episode after I'm done teaching. It's really overcast today, so I'm afraid that by the afternoon it might be too dark, but we'll see. I have a lot of really fun things to show in this episode, like new sweaters and things, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do these vlogust things like at the end of the episode or if they're going to be their own video, so who knows? We'll see what happens. Also, my sister had her second baby yesterday, which is really exciting, and she's really, really cute, and she doesn't have a name yet, but that's okay. So, yeah, I'm really sad that I couldn't be there, and seeing the pictures just made me sad I was missing it, but everyone's doing well, and I'm really happy for them, so yay! Okay, kind of a bummer. No time for podcasting today, but I definitely have time to do it tomorrow. But while I was on base at the post office, I stopped by the library and I found an awesome knitting book that's like this thick, and it has lots of helpful information on how to create different textures with different stitch patterns and things like that. So I think that's going to be really helpful. It's actually already been helpful, and I've only flipped through it for a few minutes, so I'm really looking forward to getting into that book more. It is August 9th, and welcome to my kitchen. I am making some lunch. I just finished teaching, and I am really excited because I have time today to do my next podcast. I just spent like all day working on a podcast. I filmed, and then I've been editing video ever since. You guys probably know, since I talk about it all the time, it takes me a long time to edit, so that's what I've been doing all day. I didn't really get any like vlogust footage for today, but can you just count the episode? That counts, right? So like I said, I'm gonna try to figure out a way to get more interesting footage for vlogust for next week. I don't know, some sort of makeshift tripod or something might work, but I'm sorry, this week you're just getting a bunch of little videos of my face.